Coming up on Little Pricks Podcast.
Yeah, so let's just take a moment to acknowledge that the holidays look different for a lot of people.
Yes, they do.
They look vastly different. You know, some people have great memories. I mean, it doesn't have to be a bad experience. You know, some people love the holidays. They absolutely live for it. The Christmas music, you know, the festive, the decorating, the
I'm so happy right now.
Yeah, and that's great. That's awesome. But there is, you know, oppositely some people that maybe have some, you know, negative experiences and some maybe even seasonal depression, some just like cyclical negative feelings and experiences that come with this time of year. So weird.
Can we start?
Absolutely, buddy.
Good morning and welcome to the holiday special of the Little Pricks Podcast.
Come on.
I'm excited to be here.
Dude, I'm so stoked.
It's going to be a good topic and good episode.
Yeah.
I would like to put somewhat of a happy and positive spin on it, because if not, it'll get dark and sad.
I think it's going to be heavy, and it's you know, the usual, guys. It's going to be heavy, but we're going to try to keep the spirits up. We've decorated. What does everyone think?
Christmas.
Fareed's so festive. He's got all the tinsel around your shoulders.
I've got my red and green watches on.
Why do you have two?
Because it's festive. It's red and green like Christmas.
Wow.
Yes.
I mean, I struggle with colors, but that's not green.
That is teal.
Yeah.
Close enough.
Good on you, buddy.
You know?
And we got the Santa hats.
Ho, ho, ho.
Gamo. Yeah, dude. This is cool. This has been really fun to prepare for. Minus the topic part. That part's gonna be a little bit rough for me.
I don't think
that's
it'll be
okay.
so bad.
I'm gonna get through it. I'm gonna be vulnerable. I'm gonna do it for the sake of helping you guys, and hopefully some people
and yourself
are gonna be able to
and
get
helping yourself.
Yeah. What I'm noticing is that this podcast is great for other people, and we're actually going to get to that before we start this episode. We're going to acknowledge and read a couple of things that people have given us permission to share, but it's also been really, really good for me. Like, it's been hard because I had some things that were buried so deep I didn't even realize they were a problem still.
You and I both.
And one of those things recently, and I had this conversation with both you and Ellie. And remember when we were asking, we were talking about Christmas plans, and then I was like, no, yeah, I'm not working, but I think I'm gonna pick up. I think I'm gonna work Christmas. You're like, what? You know, and the same reaction from Ellie. She's like, what are you talking about? It's Christmas, dude. And like I said it so casually that I didn't realize.
Isn't it funny?
Yeah, it was just casual. I was just like, oh, what do you mean? I'm gonna pick up and work the holiday. It's
we
it's
both
overtime.
had those moments where we say something so casual and you're just like,
yeah, and like somebody else
what is wrong with you?
like, or taken back rather from it, and they're like, what are you talking about? You're not working Christmas. You're gonna volunteer to do it for what reason? You already worked Thanksgiving and you're working New Year's. You're gonna work Christmas too? And it's like, holidays just aren't my thing. And I'm like, why?
Yeah, it's almost like you're the crazy
not
one.
a thing for you?
I would say you should be almost like the crazy one if holidays aren't the thing, right? You may not have the fondest of memories, but the point of a holiday is a reprieve or a time to celebrate, and to deprive yourself of that is kind of out of the norm, I would say, right? And everyone has their reasons for why they deprive themselves of it, but it's figuring out, why am I doing this to myself?
Right, and yeah, and we'll take a dive into that once we get the episode started here. But let's also, let's take a moment to acknowledge, because we have asked people to reach out, and you guys have.
Thank you.
We're super. I'm beside myself.
I'm stoked too.
I am beside myself with excitement, because, it's creating. When we've talked about the community that we want to create with this podcast, and I think that means a lot of things for a lot of different people. For me personally, it's just surrounding myself with people who are constantly able to be vulnerable, and it's like commonplace, and it's practiced so regularly that there is no confusion, there's no hidden agendas. Like, people are just honest, vulnerable, and just develop a close relationship with each other.
I agree.
And one of the first things I want to read here is, man, God, This is so great. Jessica said that I just wanted to reach out and say thank you. I don't think there has been a podcast I've listened to that makes me feel something like yours does. Like,
you are a handsome devil, you.
When you guys talk about deep thoughts, they normally hit right on the head for me. They have made me tear up because I realize that my mindset isn't the best. Long story short, I just wanted to say thank you. I support you two 110% and can't wait to see your podcast grow. You rock.
Aw.
Man,
that
dude,
was
like,
sweet. That one hits right home. That is a great Christmas gift.
No doubt.
That is a wonderful Christmas gift.
No
Thank you.
doubt. So I loved that one. And you know, because that's the point, right? Like, neither one of us are into this podcast to be trying to make a bunch of money or
we're
like
here to
do
therapize
like,
ourselves.
Yeah, because I think the biggest thing is that, you know, for me personally, I think the biggest goal for me is to be a free resource to people who don't have the means to do like therapy and things like that. Because when I couldn't afford therapy, free stuff like podcasts and social media outlets, that's all I had, you know?
I'd like to be very clear with that statement, though, that we are not therapists, we are not licensed, and we are not doctors in any way, shape, or form.
No,
we are simply two guys sharing our experiences, and hopefully they benefit you in some way, shape, or form.
Right, no doubt. I like the very professional, clean-cut disclaimer. So the next one is Aaron. It's a friend I have back in West Virginia. He said, dude, I'm loving the podcast. Y'all's talks on there, along with some talks with my family and friends, has got me finally moving towards and owning that my mental health isn't great, and I'm trying to fix it. Much love for you guys, and can't wait for more.
That's pretty sweet.
And then we had posted a story. I think this was the one about the love standard and how to stop accepting
love that is just not for you.
Subpar love. Yeah, and this Ari, she replied and said, isn't that the hard truth? This is great. Keep doing what you're doing. And she said, you guys can reach a huge audience, and honestly, a lot of people need to hear that stuff because nowadays accepting that stuff is becoming more normalized to people when it shouldn't be. And she's referencing like that subpar standard love is becoming normal and it shouldn't be. And she said, again, keep doing good. You guys are awesome.
That makes a great point, though, that we have lowered our standard of love in society so much that now we just accept whatever because we're starving for it.
Yeah.
What a shame.
No doubt.
You have a list of them. My God.
Buddy, I'm telling. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Like a lot of people reached out. So
one more.
Yeah, one more here.
And then let's get into the topic.
Yeah. Let's see. Nicole said that most importantly, and I'm just reading a snippet here, most importantly, how you guys set my mindset up moving forward. I tend to separate myself into isolation when I'm doing the work and growing. That's where I was at in life when this newly found condition and diagnosis was given to me, alone. And it's easy to listen to that little voice that wants to tell you that everything will end up being the worst outcome. That control aspect really hit me hard, especially right now when I feel the least bit of control in all aspects currently.
I want to bring a point to what she said. She had mentioned how she tries to do the work on her own and alone.
Yeah.
And that was something...
Like self-isolating a bit, yeah.
Self-isolating. And I have to
personally struggled with that lately.
Yeah, well, same here, right?
Yeah.
I was given the constant advice by a very wise person, right? In this case, it was my ex, to like not isolate. Work with somebody. Work with her in that case.
Right.
And I will say that I have to say she was right. I should have been able to do the work next to her, right? Or
no doubt.
I mean, really, you shouldn't isolate when you're trying to do that work, period. You should have someone to kind of keep you accountable.
Yeah, because, I mean, having that support group and having that, you know, that safety net, if you will.
I will say she was absolutely 100% right, and I take that lesson moving forward.
Yeah.
That you can work on things alone, but you don't get to put it into practice alone. You
only
like
get there's certain things that you just simply cannot learn or grow through on your own, you know, especially, in that regard of relationships and things like that. You gonna be all right, buddy?
I tried to pause our conversation.
You want to have some water?
Yeah. I'm dying. Just to be clear, by the way, we're both kind of dealing with the holiday. I've got allergies up the wazoo.
I was going to say, I'm fine.
Oh, God, you were just complaining a moment ago.
Today?
Yeah.
That's pretty decent. Yeah, yesterday I was struggling a little bit.
But we're here.
We're
gonna do
here.
it. We're gonna do our best.
Welcome, guys. Thanks for tuning in. This is Little Pricks Podcast Holiday Special.
The holiday doldrums and why everyone is sad around
Yeah.
the holidays.
Yeah, so let's just take a moment to acknowledge that the holidays look different for a lot of people.
Yes, they do.
They look vastly different. You know, some people have great memories. I mean, it doesn't have to be a bad experience. You know, some people love the holidays. They absolutely live for it. The Christmas music, you know, the festive, the decorating, the
I'm so happy right now.
Yeah, and that's great. That's awesome. But there is, you know, oppositely some people that maybe have some, you know, negative experiences and some maybe even seasonal depression, some just like cyclical negative feelings and experiences that come with this time of year. So we're going to talk about that a little bit and let you go from here, man.
There's a variety of emotions that can come with the holidays.
Yeah.
I would make the slight argument that people with healthy nuclear families probably look at the holidays in a pretty upbeat way unless something terrible has happened to change that.
Sure.
I think that people that tend to have that somewhat negative outlook on the holidays, because you have to ask the question, why is this joyous occasion become so difficult and sad? It becomes because you just didn't have the chance to create those happy holiday memories.
Right. You simply just didn't have good experiences surrounding this time. And it's a constant reminder, right? Like, we're not going to stop having this holiday. You know, this holiday is always going to be around. So it's like, if you don't have a decent experience with this time of year, you just get reminded every single year. And what's bad is, you know how it is, man. You know, people start putting up or selling Christmas decorations and stuff like that before even Thanksgiving, or if it's not before Thanksgiving, it's literally
October
the day
31st.
after. Yeah, it's the day after, you know?
No.
Or even Halloween, sometimes you start seeing Christmas decorations and it's like,
aggressive.
what?
Oh yeah. And it's there's a lot of pressure that comes along with the holidays, right?
Yeah.
It's been very commercialized.
Yeah, that's fair.
I'd like to remind people that the holidays should be a reprieve.
Yeah.
And it should be a celebration of whatever good things you can kind of muster up at that point, right?
Yeah.
But unfortunately, commercialization of things makes things kind of cheap, right? All you see are holiday decorations, and you see Hallmark come out with every potential variation of the same movie.
You be careful now. There are some people out there that will die on that mountain.
I'm one of those. I love those movies.
Do you? God, I hate them.
I love them now.
Oh, gosh.
Well, that was part of my acceptance, but we'll get to that later, right? I never used to watch them. They used to make me cringe, feel uncomfortable.
Really?
Whatever. Yeah, this year I've been indulging.
That's the point I'm at still.
I'm indulging in them now because the point is to focus on the good. It's your mindset about it.
Yeah, that's fair. That's
right?
fair. And you know, if it's not apparent already, I'm the person working on this right now.
Yes, well, we're both working on it, but yours is definitely way more.
Yeah.
Because I've had good memories with the holidays, right?
Yeah, and I've not had like net zero good memories, but the majority are not.
I have a lot of good memories, but back to my point being, you know, you have a lot of commercialization. You have the pressures and stresses of having to spend all this money.
Yeah, that's where I struggle a lot, to be honest. It stresses me out real bad.
Yeah, then you're having to go buy gifts for people, and you kind of allow the idea of the holidays. And I'm going to focus on Christmas, for example. Obviously, there's still Hanukkah and a few others I don't recognize unintentionally, right?
Right.
But we focus on the commercialization of it. And how, well, I never had good memories about it.
Yeah.
So, like, this is just upsetting and frustrating, and everyone becomes bah humbug about it. When really, it should be a time where we just take to be happy. Find it. Figure it out.
To be happy and to appreciate and show gratitude for the people that you have in your life. And take some time to have that quality time with those people. And that's what I'm working on this holiday season. You know, it's also uniquely challenging for me since, you know, Christmas is kind of a Christian-based holiday in some regard.
Very much is.
You know, it's not. I would say it's pretty much a Christian holiday. Like, people obviously, like, you know, you have Santa Claus, and there's people that don't always have the nativity scene up in their front yard or on every single fireplace mantle, but primarily it is that, and given the fact that, of course, I'm not religious, that's also uniquely challenging, and I think that also kind of like made me back away from it a bit.
I was raised a Catholic, right, by my mother.
Yeah.
And my father just kind of was the quiet Muslim in the background, right?
Yeah.
He'd be like,
That's so interesting.
"Oh, I know, right?"
How would they? Like, I just can't imagine how they navigated that.
I loved it.
raising
My
you.
dad got us gifts, right? We all
Yeah.
celebrated. We all exchanged gifts and everything. And
Yeah.
I have to say that for the first 12 years, 13, 14 years probably, very happy Christmases.
Wow. Good.
Yeah,
That's
very
awesome.
happy. We always did the same thing. We always got together in Mexico because that's where my majority of the Catholic family is, right?
Yeah.
We'd go, we'd sit down, we'd wait till midnight on the 24th to open presents, and we'd have a large dinner, spend time with each other, hug, and love each other, and laugh,
cool,
and
man.
it was just really good times, man.
Oh man, that's cool.
For me, the holidays are amazing in that regard because I remember that stuff. And being Muslim now, right? My father being Muslim, we still celebrated it, right?
Yeah, it's very interesting. Yeah, I'm glad you're taking a dive into this because I know some people would scratch their heads and be like, "Why are either one of you talking about Christmas? Talking about this holiday?"
Yeah, it's one of those things that it's a very important holiday for Christians, right? And you have to respect that and acknowledge that.
Yeah, no.
And I respect it. I can just take what I want from it and enjoy it for what it is, and enjoy and spread that with other people, right?
Yeah.
Like I don't have to sit there and be like, well, Christ was born,
Yeah. No.
it's Christ's birthday here.
Not sitting here saying away in a manger.
Yeah, like I don't have to sit there and focus on that aspect of it, but I can focus on the good lessons that is preached around this time of year. So that's fine, right? Take what's good from it and use your positive mentality for it and run with it.
Yeah,
Now
no
that
doubt.
being said, I too fall victim at times to the sadness of the holidays.
Okay.
Right?
All right.
Because I did have all those good growing up memories, and I've got to watch them dissipate as people pass away.
Ooh, okay.
And I've got to watch
no, that's
them.
fair. That's a big one.
Yeah,
Glad
right?
you touch base on that because that is a big reason why people struggle this time of year. They have loved ones that were there. They're not here anymore.
They're not here anymore, and
That's
you
hard.
notice as your family gets older, their energy they put into it's a little harder to match that energy, and it gets slower and slower. And as
Yeah.
people start to separate, or they, my cousins went out and made their own families, so now they
Right,
go
sure.
to their own holiday stuff, right? And then as I got even older, and I haven't been married quite yet, right?
Right.
Your adult brain starts to go like, well, I wish I had a partner, or I wish I had someone. And I've been very lucky.
No doubt.
that almost every single Christmas I've had a partner, but I've been too lost in my own head to appreciate that, and that's been an issue
Yeah.
on my end.
No doubt.
That
People
I'm-
feel lonely.
You feel lonely even though you're next to somebody,
Yep.
right? But it's only your fault. At least for me. In my case, it was my fault. It was undealt with trauma. It was.
Yeah, sure. It's a lot of things. But even without that scenario, people just might feel lonely. They just don't have a partner. Might not be because, they had one and now they're not with that person anymore. They just simply might not have one. And it's
Yep.
lonely, And like I said, that applies to the family members that have passed, or, again, the situation with not having a partner, or just simply feeling alone in a room full of people. That's a common feeling that I guess maybe isn't talked about as much, but if you're struggling and your mental health isn't in check, it's hard to be joyous this time of year
It's
when
very
nothing
hard
else
to
in
be.
your life is in check and you're not really joyous outside of the holiday. It's kind of hard. It's kind of hard to be
It
joyous
absolutely
with.
is.
It's like, it's a holiday. What's the difference? I feel the same as I did yesterday.
And I would say that it's one of those. It's a great opportunity for growth if you can challenge yourself to find some happiness in this time
Right.
of a year. Excuse me. Because it is hard.
Yeah.
It is difficult. Or it can be difficult. But if you can conquer this, my God.
And I'm working on that. I'm working on that hard, man. Because, just to touch base back on the conversation we had earlier, I had Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, and the day after off. And I was like, I'm just going to work them all.
And that breaks my heart for you because, again, I come from a place of,
Yeah.
I know that my holidays were really good. My family did a great job.
Yeah.
I can only imagine that you did not have that same experience.
When I was a young kid, I was so excited about the holidays. I was the first one to be up. Man, you didn't beat Devon. No, sir. I mean, I would just be giddy. Honestly, lucky I never caught my parents putting the gifts under the Christmas tree or like taking a bite out of the cookie and the drink of the milk. Like when I was a kid, they really went all for it, And I don't always want to put my family in a bad light on the podcast. I still love my family, and all of them, including the ones that I don't talk to anymore. But I love them from a distance at the moment, and part of the reason is what we're going to talk about today. But when I was a kid, when I was a little kid, Very, very excited. Love the holidays, love the music, love the food, love the gifts. I would tear open gifts like so fast. Like I'd be like throwing the box, or I got to accidentally grab the box instead of the wrapping paper and like throw it across the room. Like, dude, I was crazy little kid, you know? And people,
Same.
you know, they were like, take turns. And Devin's just over here ripping presents as fast as he can. They're like, okay, just let him do his thing. Like, you guys can go after him. Let's just, because they wanted, you know, pictures, things like that. But of course, as you know, I got older, that stuff dissipated and faded. And you know, again, you know, we're talking about the reasons why it's hard to, you know, why people are sad around this joyous occasion. And, you know, that part of that's why, because as I got older, that stuff faded away, and it's hard to be joyous on Christmas morning when everything outside of Christmas is in shambles. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and you lose a little bit of that like childhood like innocence.
Sure. I argue that I'm finally starting to gain that back. Finally. It
Same.
took a lot of work.
Same.
You know?
Yep, I had a lot of shame towards my childhood.
You did that
Yeah.
inner child work, man.
Oh,
You have
God.
it. And you know, it's been so awesome to watch you transform into the person that I always knew you were.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
Because like I can see that in your adult life, and even you as a man, I see that little boy that is finally getting the attention that he deserved, and he's continuously getting that attention that he deserves, and it's making you like, you're just so much brighter. You like radiate a higher energy, and you smile more.
Well, thank you.
And your confidence, at least from an outside perspective,
I'm very
has
confident now.
skyrocketed.
Oh yeah, I'm way more confident now. I'm
So-
way happier. Okay, careful with happy. I'm more content, which leads to happiness.
Yeah.
And yes, I am much more confident. I have very, very few things now compared to before that can rattle me.
Yeah. No
And that
doubt.
makes me happy. But back to you, because I think you are the one that does struggle with a lot of this right now.
Yeah.
I'm struggling with it in my own sense because, like, I've built the past roughly 4 years of holiday memories with someone, and fortunately, they're not around at this point.
Right.
Right? And that's due to my own doing, and I understand that. I have to accept that, right?
Sure.
And so I was struggling with my own bit of desire to be happy around the holidays. And I had to kind of deal with it and conquer that. And the only way I could figure that out was to embrace it, embrace the holidays. And I've been doing I would say a wonderful job of that this year.
I agree. Yeah.
And the way that started was focusing on other people, but not to distract myself, but as an exercise in love, right?
Okay.
So like I have had
Yeah, that's a pretty important distinction. Not to distract yourself.
yeah,
You know.
I've been having a fantastic time Christmas shopping for a family that I hold very near and dear to me.
Yeah.
And just buying every single one of them something special and
That's cool, man.
individual, as well as my own family, right? But I've taken literally hours, sometimes days,
Yeah.
finding the right gift
No
for
doubt.
that person that to me says, that's what I want to do for you.
You're right.
I love
That's
you.
where I get like, I tense up and I get stressed because I just want it to be good, right? Like that's what the pressure you were talking about that people feel, and that's for a lot of different reasons. It's just that for me specifically, it's getting the perfect gift. I want them to look at that and be like, wow, that was so thoughtful, and wow, you were thinking of me.
And that's where I have a theory on it, right?
Okay.
Where we get wrapped up in trying to get a gift that wasn't just so commercial, like, well, I just got you something, right?
Right,
You want to
yeah.
you want to convey thought.
Sure.
And you're only frustrated that of that notion because you're so focused on the frustration that you're not conveying the thought. You're so worried about making it thoughtful, you forgot about making it thoughtful,
Yeah.
right?
Wow.
Every once in a while we get a jet.
No, that's okay. That's pretty. I didn't realize it'd be that loud. That's
I
pretty
didn't
cool.
either. Part of that holiday stress that we feel
Yeah.
is that we're so busy trying to make something thoughtful that we forget to make it thoughtful.
I needed to hear that.
Yeah.
I did. I needed to hear that bad.
And so that was something I had in my mind very clearly. And I replaced the idea of trying to make something thoughtful with what is going to make this joyful as an experience.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
And so I made a list of everyone I cared about that I was going to get gifts for.
Yeah.
And I went down the line and I thought about the person,
Yeah.
right? And a lot of them were children, so it's even easier for me,
Fair.
right? And what is our relationship like? What are the things that we bond about? What are the things that we laugh about? What are the things that we kind of giggle about? And when they're kids, it's even more fun, right? Because
Yeah.
one was like
that's
a
cool.
6-year-old, and we have a a very fun relationship where, when I walk into the door, they get very excited to see me,
That's
and they
cool,
always have
man.
like a little gift for me, right? And so now
that's
it's
cool.
my turn to share that back to you.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Wow,
so-
man, that's cool.
Yeah, like
Thanks
I got
for sharing that, man. That's super cool.
I got to really enjoy that process, and I was no longer stressing out about, will they think it was, thoughtful, or did I appreciate their company? No, I get to give you something out of the bottom of my heart,
No doubt.
and I'm enjoying that. And I did that for every single person on that list, and I found that it actually became a lot harder to not get them things.
Yeah.
Right? And I wasn't just buying things to buy them stuff. It
Yeah.
was things that I thought, like, you're going to enjoy this. You're going to really appreciate this. You're going to like this. And
Yeah.
we
Or
can
it's going to
maybe-
make you laugh, or it's going to make you
Yeah.
feel, oh, that was so sweet. And so,
And that was a really good reminder for me, and a first in some ways.
no,
Because I always want to be thoughtful, but like it's that mind shift, that change in reframing how I'm treating the holidays and the grief you come with it, right? Because obviously I could just focus on the fact that, like, I went through a breakup and it's all so sad and she's not around.
our
and-
previous episode, that victim mindset and shifting out of that.
Yep. I could focus on just that and be tremendously sad,
Yeah.
or I could reframe that and give back feelings that are happy and positive. Which, look at this tinsel, right?
Right.
That was the next thing we were going to talk about. That, like, we both
Hit your
took
mute when you do.
what?
When you do that, you hit your mute. It helps a lot.
Sorry.
It's okay.
It brings us back to our next step, right? Where
Yeah.
we're both taking steps this year
Yeah.
to kind of work through that. You're not working overtime for Christmas time,
Right. Yeah. So like, we've had that feedback a couple of times. I definitely want to make sure we take time to say, hey, we've taken these steps. This has helped us navigate this, because people say that we talk about it and we talk about our experiences and like, oh yeah, we're better now. Well, but how?
How did you fix
How
it?
the hell did you do it? So
Well, and they're by making choices that are seemingly difficult
yeah.
because they're not comfortable, so to speak, right?
Yeah.
And doing that. So for Devon, you were so comfortable going and doing your overtime.
Casual, like didn't even see it as something out of the norm. Yeah.
Yeah. And for me, it was I wasn't going to decorate because my ex got me a Christmas tree last year.
And you were like, not
And
putting that up
and-
for a constant reminder.
Well, it hurts, right?
Sure.
Looking at it like that was such a sweet gesture. And I was foolish enough throughout the year to, like, not hold on to her, right? That I was silly enough to do that. And so I decided, no, she bought this tree out of kindness and love and wanting to share and spread a holiday cheer with me.
Yeah.
So why would I not embrace
Embrace
that
it, yeah.
and put it up, right?
Yep. That's right.
And that's what I've done. I
Good for
put
you,
up the
man.
tree. Thank you.
Good for you,
It was a hard choice in a moment, but I am so happy I've done it.
Yeah.
I look at that tree with glee every single time because
No doubt.
it was something that was given to me out of love,
Yep.
and it is something that I can just kind of take with me in love.
Yeah, no doubt. So, for people who are struggling in that regard, what would you say? How do you navigate that? Because you said, "Oh, well, I did this," but how did you get there? How did you navigate those feelings to get to the place where you're like, you know what? I'm gonna put up the Christmas tree. My ex got it for me, and I honestly am gonna. I don't want that constant reminder, but I'm gonna get in this mind frame where it's not a constant reminder. How did you get there?
It's in some ways it's picking and choosing.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
And I don't normally recommend picking and choosing, but I do recommend it when it comes to your mindset.
Okay.
So you can look at something like that Christmas tree, for example,
Right.
and say, oh my goodness, it's just a reminder of
Yeah.
how much I miss
Just
you know,
this 4 foot tall
my ex.
reminder
Yeah.
of
how much I miss my ex.
yeah.
I refuse to put it up. I refuse to deal with Christmas this year. She's not around. Da, 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 da. Or you can look at it as, like I was saying earlier, it's going to hurt at first.
Yeah.
It's going to be somewhat upsetting. It'll probably be kind of difficult to put up that tree.
Yeah.
But she got it for me out of love. She wanted me to celebrate something. I didn't have a Christmas tree before that.
Wow.
Right?
Nice. Okay.
And so she was trying to share with me love and open-mindedness and just the cheer of the holiday. And so that gift came to me with love, with care, It was a representation of somebody caring about me.
Yeah.
And so why would I look at that and just frown upon it and put it down?
Yeah.
I think that's reframing that mindset. Initially, it hurts because I have the item, I don't have the person.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And
which relates to some of the other like kind of topics or like reasons why people were sad that we touched on before. You know?
Yeah. And you only want to focus on what you no longer have, but you can focus on what you have or what you had. You had that love. What a great experience.
No doubt.
What a wonderful thing you had. It's a blessing. And I'm going to focus on that blessing, right?
Sure.
Because if not...
I'm just laughing because you said blessing, and here I am over here holding my tongue. No.
When you focus on the blessings, you focus on gratitude, and gratitude makes you happy and content.
Very well. Very well.
That's the process for me, right?
That. Yeah, and so I'd like to counter that, if I may.
Sure, please. Argue
you are also not necessarily to argue. I'm going to validate the people that don't feel that way.
Okay.
So to validate you who are listening, that is on the edge of your seat, like, no, there has to be another way. There is, and if you don't like the Christmas tree, motherfuck that Christmas tree. Put up something else to represent the holidays for you. You know, like if you're like, you know, I'm sick of this. Like, I don't have good memories with my family. I haven't had good memories surrounding the holidays. Fuck that ex and everything they care about, you know, because it might not be the same situation as yours, right? So if that's true, yeah, to hell with that Christmas tree. Put up something else. Put up, like, we're in Tucson, so I'm just going to say, put up a cactus. Like, that's what I'm doing this year. I'm going to change it. It's my Christmas now, and I'm going to be happy about Christmas, the holiday, whatever, Hanukkah, whatever you celebrate. It's about my new holiday dynamic and my new holiday atmosphere. So I'm going to put up a cactus this year. And similarly, you know, if you have a family member, let's use that example again too. If you have a family member that's not there anymore, you know, you don't have to be like, well, I'm just going to show gratitude. Sometimes maybe that's not the way that you heal and get better from it. Maybe, like, let's use a grandma for example. Say your grandma passed and they always made, I don't know, peanut brittle or something, and everybody loves the peanut brittle. Well, how about this year, instead of focusing on that and being like, oh God, we made peanut brittle, but it's nothing like grandma's, because it probably isn't, right? Well, make something new. Try something you've never tried before. Make a dish and see if everybody likes it. And then maybe that's a tradition now. And that doesn't mean you have to like bury the memory of grandma, forget her, and never think about her or remember her or celebrate her. That's not it. It's just that, like, you don't always have to take the situation you have and just find ways, force yourself, or not even force yourself, but just grow in a way that makes you accept the situation. If you don't like it, change it. Piss on that Christmas tree. Make something new for the holidays.
That's
you know
a
what I mean?
fair way of putting it. Yeah. My point was, create a positive memory. If you don't have them, make one.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? For me, in my case, was I had positive memories.
Yeah.
And I can just pick and choose what I want from it, and I can still appreciate what I had, and it doesn't have to make me sad. That's how I'm going to make my holiday happy. I'm going to make another happy memory. Realistically, it's what she wanted for me anyways in this particular case, right?
Maybe you find a little healing in that, doing what you
Exactly.
felt like that they wanted for you.
Yeah, you know, it's kind of a reminder of learning a lesson. Like, hey, you know, and I think that anytime I feel growth, I feel happier, right?
Yeah.
That's just what works for me this year. That was my hurdle to jump over.
Yeah.
And so I've done that. And I look at that tree and I'm happy. And if you need a saguaro cactus to show you that you're making new memories from what you used to, it's not your traditional, you know, West Virginia holiday.
Pine tree, yeah, right. It's not the pine tree. It's not the,
Great. That's wonderful for you. But the point always is, if it's a sad time of year, make it a good time of year.
Yeah, make it a good time of year. Whatever you have to do to make that happen.
And I think we go back to that same process. How do you find happiness, especially in a time like this? You know, how do you make the holiday great again? Is the way I'm looking at it, right?
Yeah.
And it starts off in the same way that you would do any kind of healing.
Yeah.
I would say it's focus on gratitude.
Yeah.
Be grateful for things.
Yeah, no doubt.
You have a lot of things to be grateful for. If you
I
can't
think
see them,
solid one.
You got your eyes closed.
You can always rely on that, you know, or you can always go back to that and find it in gratitude in your situation.
I am a religious person, so every morning the first thing I do when I wake up is thank God I woke up. That's the first thing I say. Eyes like half open, crusty.
I don't care if I'm religious or not. That's not a bad way to start your day.
Not
man.
a bad way, right?
It's simply
Thank God
not
I
a
woke
bad
up.
way. Mm-hmm.
Right? And then the next one for me is give thanks for all the mundane things you don't consider. I'm so glad my staircase held me as I went down the stairs today. You know?
Right. That's fair.
I'm so
The
glad.
alternative would be pretty rough.
Yes, right? Like, I'm so glad I didn't trip down the stairs.
Yeah.
I'm so glad I woke up this morning to happy, healthy dogs waiting for me downstairs.
Aw.
Right?
Which people have requested. When we
will put photos at the end of this today of the puppers.
Yeah, okay, we can do that. Put little Santa hats on them or something.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so stay tuned. You got to go to the end of the episode and we'll put them up there.
You got to watch.
That's cool.
It's just giving gratitude for the tiniest of things. I'm grateful I got a text from you this morning. It means I know you were okay.
Yeah.
Right?
No doubt. Man, that's pretty nice, actually. That's even helping me, like, as we sit, like, live in person. This is like, wow, yeah.
It's just
that's helping me a bit.
Because I think people just forget about what to be grateful for. We forget that, oh, I'm so grateful my car is there, that I have a nice car and a nice house.
Right.
But you forget that I'm so glad I had the shoes to walk out to my car.
Mm-hmm.
I'm so grateful that I have healthy working lungs.
Yeah.
That walking isn't a challenge, right?
Sure.
It's just the smaller and smaller and smaller you go, the more you realize you have so much to be grateful for.
Yeah.
And if you start there and just slowly grow your way up, don't sit there and try to do it all at once.
That's what people, I'll say that too, is that's some of the that's the most feedback I got from the episode of the love episode is what'd you call it? Micro decisions, baby steps, and you start so small because that's really the only way to start, right? Like, we're not saying that if you practice these things and navigate the holiday sadness this year the way that we have, that this Christmas is just going to be the best one ever. But what I can say is that this year's Christmas, or this year's holiday, Hanukkah, or any other holiday that's celebrated this time of year, it's going to be just a little bit better. And then it's going to continue to get just
it's a snowball.
bit better next year.
It's a snowball.
And then maybe like New Year's is also like, oh, dang, this is kind of nice. This is a little bit better than usual. And then maybe, X, Y, and Z holidays after. Like, it's a snowball effect. And it starts small, but...
You know what I'm really grateful for?
Yeah.
When I walk around town and I smile at people and they smile back.
No doubt. Yeah.
That one's what I'm grateful for, because that means that person wasn't in the right headspace to accept a smile and smile back at you.
Yeah.
That one actually makes my day often.
No.
And that's enough to make my day. So we focus on gratitude.
Yeah.
And then the next thing I would go to is focus on being of service to others.
Ooh, it's a different way of going about it. Yeah. That's fair.
Around
Giving
the
to others,
holidays.
Yeah.
What are the holidays about?
Yeah. I would argue give to giving.
It's about giving.
Mm-hmm.
It is the time for cheer and to give. So,
and that's not always like gifts you buy with money either. You can, you can give your
smile
time.
is a gift.
Yeah, exactly. You can give your smile. You can give your time. You can give your service. You can volunteer somewhere or some, in some regard.
Shoot, simply making someone's life not harder is a gift.
No doubt.
Right? If you have the opportunity to make someone's life easier, do it.
Yeah.
If you have the opportunity to make someone's life not more difficult by doing nothing, do that.
I would also like to make the point too that, if you're in a place, because I've been in places where I struggle bad, and I think that's why I feel the stress about the giving sometimes, like in that regard, because I can't even give to myself. So I would also like to remind people that maybe this year it means that you just give to yourself, and you don't focus as much on giving to others, because maybe that's what you've been doing every single year, and that's why you're so exhausted, you're so stressed, you're so burnt out this time of year. Maybe it's not because a family member is not there anymore. Maybe it's not because you've had negative experiences. Maybe it's just because you're exhausted and ran ragged this time of year. Maybe
take care of yourself a little bit.
Take care of yourself this year. You're still that giving aspect, but maybe give to yourself
a little bit to you, because you need to love yourself sometimes.
No doubt.
And it's just, but it comes down to giving, right? It's not about
I
expecting
agree.
things back.
Yeah.
It is gratitude and servitude.
Yeah.
Which ironically are the things that all religions really preach, right? It's how to focus on someone else, because the more you give to others in whatever shape or form is what you receive back.
No doubt.
And that brings such a peace, that brings such a happiness. And this time of year can be very, very sad.
Yeah.
And why
And
not focus on the things that make other people smile? And like you were saying earlier, it may not correct everything immediately, and they never usually do.
Yeah, there's really no, it's like in any aspect of like, there's no get rich schemes. It just doesn't exist. It's a slow burn. Getting your mental health in check is not an overnight thing.
The greatest comparison I've ever heard for this. You are right. There is no get rich quick scheme that truly works.
I mean, unless somebody's getting really like raked over the coals. No, there is no such thing as get rich quick. It's a slow burn.
And the same thing goes with your emotional state of being, right?
Yeah.
There is no get happy quick scheme. There is no, you have to put in the work.
Yeah.
And I think
it's just slow. And like when you say put in the work, it doesn't have to be daunting. It's like a 2% gain.
The micro decisions.
Yeah,
They're micro decisions.
Yeah.
And I would say that if you get anything from this podcast, is be the person that's willing to put in the work when it's difficult, when it's easy, when it's fast, when it's slow. Be willing to do the work to improve yourself.
And I will always advocate, every single time we talk about this and we talk about things that you need to do to improve your mental health, therapy. Hear me? Say it with me. Therapy. We're not therapists. We're not doctors. We're not mental health experts. We're just sharing our experiences, but
therapy's been very helpful.
With some growth. And if you guys interact, that's the biggest thing that's going to help the podcast grow and reach more people, to help them and encourage them to take the steps that they need to get their mental health in check, to get their emotional well-being in check, is interacting with it. So like, subscribe, and share it. And then with any luck, we'll get a little partnership, maybe give you guys a discount code one day. That's honestly, cool. That's a pretty big goal for me for the podcast, is to have like BetterHelp, or just at least something similar.
I got you.
And just have like a discount code to like help people be able to afford it.
I have one more thing that I think would be very beneficial in an actionable thing you can do to make your holidays better.
Let's hear it.
And this can be done for any situation, but this specifically.
Okay.
I would say you've practiced being grateful.
Yeah.
Gratitude. You've practiced being of service to others.
Yep.
Wonderful. Now I'm going to tell you to practice being present.
Ooh, good one.
Because
good one.
Yep. If you're constantly distracting yourself on your phone, on your computer, with mindless tasks, the work you have to do, whatever, when you are around people that need to be around you, want to be around you, have to be around you, it doesn't matter why they're around you.
Yeah.
Be present. Because if you're not present, you won't be able to practice the other two with them. Put your phone down. Yeah. Put your damn phone down.
That's fair.
Right? And I'm guilty of it. I acknowledge this.
Oh, yeah.
We all are.
We never say things because we're just completely innocent. Like
we are not saints.
We have struggled with the same things, and somebody commented on that too. They said, wow. They said, it sounds like you're almost saying that to yourself. And it was about the thing where I said that you're deserving of love and you're worthy of love no matter where you're at in your journey. And I very much so am. I very much so in this podcast say things that I need to hear, or I wish I would have heard sooner.
We're just coaching ourselves in life right now.
Yeah.
That's all it is. But be present. If you're spending time with your family, make them feel special.
Or your found family.
Or your friends, found family. Family's anyone you want it to be family,
That's
right?
That's
around
right.
your friends, make them feel like they are appreciated and cared about, or heard. More importantly, heard. That's a lesson I am screaming at myself right now, right? I need to be better at making sure people feel heard.
Which I will give you credit. Inside of our friendship, at least, you have definitely done that.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
That's something I worked really hard at. Well, because I've caused hurt and damage with that, right?
Yeah.
I didn't make people feel heard.
Yeah.
They were hurt for it. And I don't want to be that cause anymore.
Yeah.
Listen, truly listen.
Yeah.
Be grateful they're around you.
Yeah.
And give back.
Very cool. And then, of course, I'm going to counter with the things that I said, or not counter necessarily, but just add my points also. If something is a constant reminder, get rid of it. Throw the tree in the dumpster. Or, put up the cactus. Make something new. Create a new tradition. Change it. Do something to make it new and make it yours, and turn some of that giving energy in towards yourself also. Give yourself a break.
I would argue come to terms with it. Accept it. Devin and I kind of look at it a little bit differently there.
Yeah.
I would say
we both have good points. Like I don't ever mean to negate anything you said at all.
No, we debate, and that's fine. We don't have to agree.
Right.
Or I would say do a hybrid of the two.
Yeah, no doubt.
Come to some form of acceptance, right? And then maybe create new memories.
Yeah. Definitely create a new memory. I love that one. Yeah, because that's where I'm at. Like I I had this, this negative feeling. I had this cyclical sadness and pain around the holidays, and no more,
And ultimately, you have one time to live.
Mm-hmm.
You get to choose how miserable you are.
Yeah. You
Why
would
would
have some choice in it?
you
Yeah.
have a lot of choice in it, right?
Yeah.
Why would you choose to live a life that's miserable? Make
Make some
choices
changes, yeah.
that make you happy,
Yep.
right? You are the author of your story.
Yeah, and you deserve to not be miserable. Like, fuck that, dude.
Give yourself the happy ending.
Yeah, give yourself a happy ending. Piss on all that other stuff that you're not responsible for, you weren't in control of, and make it new and make it yours.
On that note, like, subscribe, share it with your fellow friends and family. We'd love to hear back from you guys because we're having a great time with this.
Keep reaching out because, seriously, and to the people we didn't get to, as far as when we were announcing and reading some of the stories that people had shared, we hear you. We love you guys. We are so happy that you have reached out and that we have had some kind of positive impact. I'm personally glad. I know Fareed's glad to be part of your journey of growth and healing.
We love your comments.
And we love your comments. Please email us. Continue to email us. Reach out on social media. I promise we're going to see it. We'll reply to you. And
we're reading them. We cry sometimes.
Oh, I have cried hard.
It's mainly Devon.
It's mainly me. I cried so
I don't have
hard.
tears left due to my allergies.
Right. And
Nothing's
we love
dry.
It. We love it. And we are so glad to be here with you guys. We hope your holiday season is just a little bit better this year. And it continues to get a little bit better every year. And we are rooting for you to get your mental health in check, to get your emotional health in check. We're here for you. We support you. We love you.
I hope you guys have a very, very Merry Christmas.
Happy holidays.
Happy holidays. Happy Hanukkah.
Happy Hanukkah.
Whatever you're celebrating.
I'm trying to think of some other ones. I feel like that's the only three we've said, but like
we don't have Eid right now, so yeah.
No matter
Stay
what
tuned.
You are celebrating this time of year, we love it for you. We're here for you. Enjoy it. Be present. Show some gratitude. Give yourself some love. And we'll see you guys next year.
Adios, guys. No, we have another episode. There's another episode.
Oh, dang it.
We'll see you guys next week.
Okay. I've been wanting this to be the last episode of the year.
I know you have been. It doesn't have to end, sir. God.